Good afternoon, Femi. It's so great to have you here. You've done really impactful work. I would
Thank you.
like, as part of our discussions today, to learn more about your journey as a leader, the impact you've made, how you think about leading from the front, and also pulling others
Mhm.
along and up as you expand your organization to accomplish the vision and the goals that you set. So, welcome. So good to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
So, just starting with the first question, when you think about leadership, what does that mean to you? And also, if you can share a little bit about your journey as a leader, when did it all start?
So I'm going to come at it from a Nigerian perspective. I'm the oldest of five kids. You are a leader by force, right? It's just how it is. It's not like you're chosen. It's just there. You know you have to get it done. I remember my mom was a nurse, and when she comes back from night duty, right? And we were during the holidays, she would tell me, I am going to go sleep. Your younger ones must not cry. And if they cry, I get whooped. That's leadership. So I have to make sure that everybody is comfortable. People are hungry. Mommy cannot be working up because she's going again for the next shift at night, but she needs to rest, right? And then you see my younger ones trying to play the card because they know that if they cry, I am going to get whooped. So leadership for me started from a long time ago as the first child in the family. And then you just see it's something you just step into. You're not called. You see there's something that needs to be done. You're not waiting for somebody to call you. It is just something built inside of you to go solve that problem, right? People need help. You step up, right? So it's not like I need to be chosen. Is I see there's a problem. I see something is broken. I'm not going to make noise about it. I'm just going to step up and go do it. So that's what leadership is about for me. You see, there's a problem coming up in the future. What do you do right now to solve that problem before it arises? Or how do you provide a solution to that problem before it shows up? And that's we get into the role of a CTO. That's what I think about being able to look ahead and say, hey, this is going to be a problem, or this is an opportunity for the company. What do we need to do to quickly get there, find a solution, get there before somebody else does? So that's how I think about leadership. It's a calling for me, it's just there.
What I'll say is, yes, your mom gave you that first leadership opportunity to just deliver, and you figured out a way to get it done. And
Yeah.
secondly, something you mentioned resonates deeply is that leaders look around the corners, right? You're looking ahead to somewhat be ready to address
Yeah.
potential issues and kind of look at possibly go wrong or what are the opportunities ahead, and you prepare and step into to address those.
Yeah.
Can you share with us individuals that may have played a role in contributing
Mm,
to developing your approach
mhm.
to leadership?
Okay. Well, the first person I will say is my dad. My dad was the leader. He was also firstborn. And you could see the way he took care of the siblings and everybody in the family, right? So that was one. And then he was also a minister, right? And being a minister, how people just show up at the house and how we counsel people and how we lead people. And then he leads with love. There's a difference in trying to just give in commands to people. Is this kind of leader that extends grace, right? And so that became a part of me as a leader. People will make mistakes, people will fail. But how do you extend grace to people when issues arise? That's one. And then number two is thinking about making sure that your comfort comes later on. Everybody has to be comfortable before you do. To me, that's really sacrifice, right? That's what leadership is. They call it servant leadership. Like you're thinking about everybody else. There's a scripture in Philippians in the Bible that talks about leadership that says, think not about yourself. It's in Philippians chapter, I think 2, verse 4. Think not about yourself, but think about others. For me, that leadership started like that. I need to step back, make sure my coworkers on my team or the people I'm leading, they are good. I need to shine the spotlight on them, right? It's not about me. So those are the kind of learning from my dad. I have mentors too as well. My mentor, Tony Neil Graves, he mentored me when I joined Intel and moved to Oregon, told me how the games are played. He will guide, lead, and it was very cool. So leadership for me is that combination of your comfort comes last. You think about other people on the team first. And number three, I do not know everything. I am comfortable in not knowing everything. And I tell my team that. So I'm open to hearing your voice. Your voice is important at this table. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to ask the questions and I'm going to make the call. I don't know everything. So those three, my dad, Tony No Graves, and I have some other mentors too as well that have guided me along with on the path of leadership.
I'd like to dive in a little bit deeper to mention because leadership is really about taking care of those in your care, making sure that you're able to pull out the potential, the capabilities. As a leader,
Yeah.
you have enough empathy to balance with accountability. So, two questions for you. Do you believe that the skills of empathy, of care as a leader can be learned? And also, as a leader, be able to balance care, empathy with accountability for their work?
It's a very good question. If I hear it right, can leadership be learned? I think so. I really think so. You can, empathy is something that you can learn and grow into, right? You have to make a conscious effort to focus on the people that you are leading, right? As a leader, first of all, the definition of a leader is a leader has followers. That's what it is, as simple as it gets. And the leader is helping lead them along a path to solve problems. That's it. And you're using their expertise, or you're taking their strengths and also their weaknesses to solve problems. And that's really what this is about. That's the way I think about leadership.
Right.
Can empathy be learned? Yes, definitely, definitely. But you have to be open to it, right? I have seen leaders that don't care. I've seen leaders that just focus on themselves. I've seen leaders that are selfish, right? They use other people's work on their team and do not give visibility to the people on the team. I've seen that, right? And I fight it. I fight against it big time. Like I remember when I was at Intel, I told my team, a group of 60 people, and I said, if you don't share knowledge, I'm coming after you. I was very blunt. Like I set the tone of the kind of culture I want on this team. There's going to be no backstabbing. If you backstab, I'm coming after you, right? If you go on vacation, you don't share information that will keep this team going, and you're hiding because you're afraid of your job, I'm coming after you. So as a leader, you need to set those ground rules, right? Because at the end of the day, still empathy, right? There's that accountability too as well. First of all, I'm looking out for you. Yes, I am also looking at performers. But at the same time, it's a whole team mindset. We have to think about a team first. It's not about me, it's not about you. It's about the team, number one. Then I also look at the people, right? The people make up the team. But the team goals, the company goals, right? Those come. And then we use that to drive into the team. When I see selfishness, I call it out. I'm accountable. But it's not, I'm going to make you look bad in front of 100 people. We'll have a one on one. I will see if you're making progress or not. And if you're not, then it might get to a point where I'm going to call you out. But overall, to answer your first question, yes, it can be learned. You can study, you look for mentors that can help you. You see a mentor that is caring, right? You don't have that kind of attribute. You should go watch them from that perspective. If you are weak in certain areas, you go find mentors that are strong in those areas so you can learn from them. I had a manager, I'll give you an example. I had a manager that used to just take us out. We do something great. He'd take us out for lunch on his own dime. It will not expensive to the company. Did I pick that up? Yes. So when I became a manager too as well, or senior or principal engineer, or I was leading teams, we hit different milestones. I just take the team out on my dime. I don't care whether the company is going to pay for it. They know that Femi wants us to succeed. And I actually just tell them straight up, I said, listen, I want to upskill you guys to the level that if you decide to leave this group, you're flying like an eagle. I'm comfortable in you going somewhere else. You've learned from us and you go grow somewhere else. It's okay. People should move, people should be blessed, people should be promoted. But at the same time, I think that's one of the problems that we see in teams. There's a selfish mindset, there is a backstabbing mindset. There's no we, but you as the leader needs to set the culture that you want your team to do. Because if you don't set that, everybody would do what you were doing. If I'm backstabbing people, my team is a reflection of me. They will backstab people. If I am rude to people in meetings, my team will be rude to people in meetings, right? If I do not respect women in meetings, then my team will not respect women in meetings. If I don't respect just people in general in meetings or in how I behave, my team will do the same thing.
So a couple of what I'll say I gleaned from that is you are willing to spend your political capital on your team to protect them, help them to be
Yeah,
able to accomplish the goals you set for your organization, and also to set the tone at the top. Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, everything rises and falls on leadership. You determine the kind of culture you want your team
yeah,
to emulate, and you serve as that role model for the team. You address anything that is contrary to the culture you want to see, right? Which is it's fantastic because that way your team is aligned with your approach to leading and
right,
expectations. And I believe that will
right.
drive
And
morale within your team, right?
oh, it does. Yeah. There are times where you see leaders can't put their badges down for their team members. I tell my team, I'm put my badge down, go do this. If anything happens, it's on me. Hey, the VP will call me or the fellow. So what? I will explain this is how we're trying to innovate. We're trying to get there faster. This is what we needed to do. This is how we do it. We've looked at the risk. This is it. I'm putting my badge on the line for my team. Right. And so they see me coming and standing in front of them. Like, hey, if you have a problem, talk to me. Do not mess with my team. My team knows that. Right. And that's the way I was raised. Like my parents will be like, you're in charge. If anything happens to the younger ones that are under you, you're the one in trouble, right? They hold you responsible for the ones you're leading. And I think leadership, people want to be leaders without taking responsibility for the people they're leading. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people just want to be, when it's good, they take the credit. When it's bad, they deflect it. When things break, I'm like, it's still on me. And I have people, for example, on teams, like we created something and the customer, the product we sent out, we didn't, maybe we missed the testing, right? And something broke. When I go to those customers, I take the fault. I take the blame. And I said, I'm sorry. It's on me. I did not go in and go say, oh, it is John that did it on my team. Oh, he really messed up. No, I just apologize. We move on. But I'll take it on myself.
Thank you for sharing that, Femi. Creating psychological safety is something that we hear a lot about, and it seems like you do that very well, just based on the number of patents that you've had. So tell us a little bit about how you bring out the creativity in your team. I believe that everything you've articulated pretty much contributes to that, creating a safe feel fast, feel as frequently as
Yeah.
possible, but because they know that you
Mhm.
have their back. So can you maybe tell us a little bit about innovation and how your leadership
Yeah.
inspires innovation?
So look, there are different types of people in the workplace. There are people that like chaos. When there's a technological problem, you get excited. That's me. I am a guy that loves to just go in and solve problems. Now, there are other people that like to just do execution, right? I do execution as well, don't get me wrong, but I find very boring when things are repetitive over time. So, from a younger age, my dad was in the telecommunication industry in Nigeria. My mom was a nurse. I had an uncle that was doing computer science. I had an uncle that was a professor in one of the universities. So I grew up with this mentality of innovation, right? Building things. I had a neighbor that was older than I am that was building remote control cars. And I was excited about technology, about building and innovating and solving problems. So for me, my team, number one, has that mindset, okay, of we are going to fail very fast. We're going to innovate. We're going to look for ways to solve problems. So we get into a room, and I had cross geo teams, right? And so we just call the people that are local. We get in a room, we call, and then we join on the board. This is the problem. This is what we need to do, but we don't know what to do. It's the canvas, wide canvas. What do we do? I know idea is stupid. So I allow part of it too when we talk about innovation is that allowing so many voices to be able to speak, right? Making people comfortable to be able to what? Raise their voices and say, even when they're junior. Okay. And I give an example. I remember when as a junior engineer, I went into a staff meeting with my team, and my manager said, I think this problem, raised the problem. And I said, well, Mr. Manager, I think we should solve it this way. And he said, I don't think so. Okay. The following week, the principal engineer on our team was there in the meeting. The same issue came up. The principal engineer said exactly what I said, right? But guess what? I did not keep quiet. I said, Mr. Principal Engineer, that is what I said last week. So I had a follow-up meeting with my manager, and I said, why did you not believe me when I said this is always to solve the problem, and you believe the senior PE and the principal engineer? He said, you know what? Principal engineers have been vetted. Are when you come with a title like a PhD, people trust you because you've been vetted, right? But because you're a junior engineer, it's not like you don't know what you're talking about, but the words of a PE or a technical leader carries more weight, right, than that of a junior engineer. And so from there, I learned a lesson. Ideas can come everywhere, from anywhere. Do not shut people down, right? And so in my meetings, everybody is open to talk, right? And that's how we innovate. That's how we innovate. Some of the innovations that are, the patents came from just sleeping, and the ideas will come. I'm solving a problem, and the ideas will come, right? And I wake up in the morning, we're doing it, right? Trying to test it out, and it works. Oh, let's try file a patent, and we get a patent. So innovation for me is a big deal. So once we solve our problem, we get the technical portion out. I pass it on to the program administrator. Go get it done. I'm moving on to the next fire. That's who I am. So I know myself as a leader. My team knows me. And so they know that, oh, once we've done this, I'm going to pass it on. Who's the PM? Who's PM is going to take this over? We pass it on. So I'm okay. And this is me. I'm very okay with getting a skyscraper, build a foundation, right? With all the pylons and digging all the ground, pylon and putting them on, and then stacking it to the third, fourth, fifth floor. And then somebody else takes it over and just, because it's repetitive, right? And just builds it to the 100th floor. So as a leader, I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. So for me, when I'm leading an org that requires both innovation and execution, I do execution because if you innovate without execution, it doesn't make sense, right? But this the part of getting things into production that requires repetitive tasks, making it operational. So I have people on my team that will cover my weakness in that space, and it's okay. It's okay. So I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are, and I push my strengths, and I look at my team. I know the strengths and weaknesses. I know John can do this. It doesn't mean he's a bad engineer, but I know Susan is better at this. So I know how to move people around. And it doesn't matter because I am 2 levels senior to these engineers. We have
Right.
architectural meetings. I'm a senior principal engineer, and some of them are way like 4 level grades below. And I'm talking to them. I don't care. You are going to teach me something. If I don't know it, all right, Andrew, let's get in the room. Shh, tell me what's going on, So that's my leadership style. It's how we combine innovation into products, because part of the innovation is not only solving a problem, it's also, hey, can you solve it at a cost effective method? Is it cost effective? Do you get there on time before the competitors get there? To me, that's what innovation is, right? It's cost effective. It is better than the previous product. It's also cost effective, but it's also maybe 2 times or 3 times better than the previous performance.
Leaders have to be very self-aware, but
Yes,
also leaders have to know their people, regardless
yes,
of their level. You have to know your people
you
and
have
know
to.
yourself.
Yes. Let
No,
me give you an example to solve a problem. I know people on my team. My boss says, "Hey, Femi, we have something to solve, okay? And I need to get this done in 2 weeks because the CEO needs to see this." I know who on my team I'm going to call. I know who is going to do things very fast. I know people that will work after hours with me to get it done. I know people that will not work after hours with me to not get it done. And it's not that they don't
right.
they might have family stuff going on, or that's just not who they are, or they're not in that stage yet of, oh, they're not innovative, but they're more execution or they're more operational. So I know what stages to now say, okay, I'm taking this over from Topware, I'm giving it over to Samantha to go
Right.
run. So knowing the strengths of your team, I know the strengths of the team because I interface with them, I talk to them, I don't bring them down. They're open with me as well when they don't know stuff. But at the same time, I am giving them flexibility to go learn. I am learning. I'm your 2 levels, your senior. I am also learning. So why should you not learn?
And not every leader will do that, right? Spending time with them, getting to know them is an investment on your part. But then at the end of the day, the outcome is positive because you're able to glean and get the best out of them here, and that you're invested in their success and ultimately the success of the team. How do you stay grounded as a leader? Because you're carrying the burden of the team. So I can
Yeah.
imagine that it comes with its own struggles, its own challenges. So would you mind
Correct.
sharing how you stay grounded?
Yes, it's a very good question, right? I don't know if it's a British proverb that says, "I'm easy as the head that wears the crown." We've talked about our team, right? Because even within the team, it doesn't mean everybody is, friends with each other. Because there are times you call into a meeting and there's an argument going on because this person doesn't like this person and that person doesn't like this person, and that is holding the product from being delivered and being done. There are people feeling like their voices are not being heard, right? So I'm looking at it from the perspective of within the team, do we see people getting into arguments? You, as the leader, need to come into that space to actually put the fire out, right? It's not about people being best friends. It's how you're helping them understand we need to put our egos aside. And you have to be blunt enough to say, guys, suck it up. Or, look, you messed up here. You need to apologize, right? And you need to be able to have that conversation to call people out to say, look, you guys, or you bring two of them into a room, you keep it away from everybody. So within that perspective, it's not always easy. I've seen a case even before I became a manager. I had a manager that went on vacation and said, Femi, you're in charge. And guess what? He did not tell me 2 people on the team were having problems. So it would not become my problem. And I didn't know this. And they were both my friends. So how do I solve that problem? So sometimes you are called into leadership when you are not expecting it. And there's a lot of work to be done, right? That's one. Now, let's look at the perspective of your peers, right? Now, what are dynamics that is beyond you, right? You could have a case in point where maybe your manager doesn't give your team the credit due, right? And that credit always goes to another team. How do you handle that with your manager, right? Like your team is not being awarded, even though we're doing all this work. How do you get your team that visibility? And sometimes it requires you telling the manager and saying, you are not giving my team visibility in this space. We've done all this work. We were doing it before this became cool. And we shared it with this team and nobody wanted to hear. But now, hey, it's now all the hype. And somebody just jumped in and then you're giving them credit. And you have to be, look, as a leader, there's some leaders that do not want to stand up to their managers. I will stand up for my team and say, look, this is not fair on my team. So areas like that, right? I look at that dynamics, right? There's also the dynamics of how you're dealing with large when you're in larger, like a large organization that has 100,000 employees. You're working with people that are not directly under your manager, and there's a lot of politics going on. How do you influence somebody that's even senior to your manager, right? How do you go in and say, hey, this is how we're helping? And let me tell you, the way I've been able to do that is being able to just show that, look, it's about the value my team brings. We do not care about the visibility. You can take the visibility. We'll solve this problem. We'll help because we want this company to succeed. We have to think about it from that perspective. And that's the way I teach them. Those are the three different areas I've seen that uneasiness for a leader, right? And that's why you see people do not want to be leaders. It is a lot of work. Internal, your team are fighting. External, you're fighting with your peers because they want to be, they want to shine. And you like, my team is here doing all this work. They have to shine through as well, right? And then you also have this virtual team that you're working with cross country. And then they have influence through another senior leader. And you're trying to like, my leader, my VP, you need to be helping me fight. Right? So how do you balance all that together? Because at the end of the day, you want your team to know that you're fighting for them. I'm also transparent with them, right? And I'm not trying to hide information. I'm trying to tell them, like, hey, this is what is going on. This is how things are tied today. Guys, at this level, it's all politics sometimes. And how do you navigate that politics? So I've learned how to navigate politics. Do I have all the answers? No. But people know that Femi's heart is in the right place because he wants this company to succeed. And once people see that, they
Right.
respect you. Like Femi is not coming from a selfish heart that Femi wants to be. Yes, I want to be promoted and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But number one thing is I want this company to succeed. The competitors who've been doing this before our competitors, why are we behind? Right? These are the things we need to do to get ahead. Right? And my team is positioned to help with that. A lot of people come up with PowerPoint slides.
Mhm.
My team, we don't do PowerPoint slides. We do PowerPoint slides after we build a product. So when I go to the CTO or I go to a senior VP, I am showing them the product demo. I don't go in there and show them, oh, look at by 5 pages of PowerPoint slide, and this is what we're going to do. We've already done it. By the time I showed up at your door, you're like, oh, okay, nobody can argue.
Right.
My team knows that my Femi is not going to see a PowerPoint slide. We'll do architectural stuff later. We're going to fail fast. We're going to build it quickly. Now, when we say AI behind the scenes might be a human, right? Tweaking something. I'm typing something here, and there's an AI guy by on my back. Two guys that are making sure everything is wired properly. I already know how to solve the problem, but I am showing you a demo stuff that works. So that's how I prep my team to know that look, we do not waste time. We do not do PowerPoint slides. So those are the kind of things, and that's how I've been able to
Yeah.
navigate politics.
Thank you for sharing that. A couple more questions for you.
Yeah,
A lot of times I get asked about tools, frameworks that guide and inform leadership. So, do you have any
yeah.
framework or tools that you use to make you effective as a leader? You have any recommendations to share?
So first of all, my first guide to leadership, like I said, apart from my parents and mentors I had around, Jesus, Christ, and the Bible, how he led people with empathy, how he took care of his disciples, how he took care of people that were sick, people that were homeless, people that were, he made time for kids, he volunteered time, right? He did all that. That to me is the best kind of leadership that I can learn. So I read through the Bible a lot and I see leadership, right? How to stand and take care of people, how to make sure that the spotlight is on your team. All right. I give an example. I worked on a project, okay? And we got an award. I worked on a project, I was part of the project lead, but we could only put maybe 10 people in there, and we were 11 or 12. I had a big part in it. I'm technical, I'm not just a manager. What do? I step back because I want my team member to be in there. Those are the kind of sacrifice that you have to make, right? Those are the things you hear, you read when you read the Bible, you'll be like, oh, wow, that's selfless. You got to take yourself out of the picture and make sure your team is promoted. Make sure, like my team, they know if they work on a product and we're going to go present to a VP, they are presenting. I am teaching them how to present. It's not Femi that is going to go talk. I will say, hey, Lara, you are going to present and you're going to present to the VP because I want you to learn how you're going to grow your ability to talk to senior people. And I want to teach my team to be comfortable in the midst of senior folks. So to me, that Bible was one, right? Then the other one I got when I first became a manager, I asked one of my mentors, say Dami Olopade. It was the 1 minute manager, the 1 minute manager series. That really helped me when I started becoming a manager. Like, okay, I see this now. I get that. So those books were good ones. There are a lot of leadership books. And so there are other ones I've seen about failures of companies. I read a lot of that, like how BlackBerry fell, like losing the signal. So I read books, or the Nike, the shoe dog from Nike, how he built Nike up. Those leaders, I read a lot of their books just to learn and grow. So the way I relax is just going to Barnes and Noble, the bookstore, and I just walk through and I look at leadership books and I just read. I just take one, oh, interesting, and I start to read it right there. Right? If I like it enough, I buy it. But I go to Barnes and Noble and just go through their leadership section. I go through their money section and see areas where I can areas to grow. To your point, I have to keep growing. So, but there are a lot of books. But those are, I'll say, the Bible. Looking at Jesus as a perfect example of leading people. My parents, lots of mentors that have helped me along the way. My former managers too. I've been blessed with amazing managers that were kind enough to teach me. Those people just guided me. I learn from anybody. I don't care who you are. If you're below me in grade level, you're going to teach me. It doesn't matter. So having that humble mindset is a big deal. When somebody teaches me stuff, I reward them. Like, thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. Or I take them out to lunch. I appreciate you. I make time to say, look, your time is valuable and you spend that time helping me out. So let me give you one last example. I remember when I transitioned from being a signal integrity engineer, I jumped onto platform architecture for wearables like Google Glass, smart watches, smart gloves. So I was going into that space. I didn't want to just do ones and zeros anymore. And I got to this new group and I was working on something called the PIMIC, Power Management ICs. It's in phones and tablets and stuff like that. I didn't have a good understanding of it. I found somebody that was in the lab that was junior to me in grade. And I said, I need you to teach me this stuff. He said, Femi, I have time only after hours, like from 5 to 6. I was like, I will take it. And I would just go there. He would teach me stuff. And I appreciated him for taking that time. He could have gone home, but it took that time. So for me, appreciating people's time is important.
So what I hear is stay humble, stay hungry, and show
Stay humble.
gratitude.
So gratitude. And yeah, the hunger part, like you say, humble, you don't know everything. Be open to receive. Just have an open mind. I need information. Right now, I'm working on humanoids. I'm reading, right? I go get a book. It's a new field I want to get into. And I'm just reading and I'm going to practice and I'm finding a mentor in that space, right? You have to stay hungry. You cannot just be the same person you were. And don't get me wrong. There are people that are doing the same thing that after being, for 20 years, for 25 years, right? It's okay. But I know myself. I get bored easily. I'm a guy that has depth, I have breadth. I love to build products, right? So understanding different aspects of the product is a big deal for me. But I know that I don't know, I don't have all the answers, but I want to be dangerous enough to ask the right questions so that we build the right product.
This has been a very insightful and fun conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking
Thank
with you.
you.
So, a
Yeah.
few more questions for you. What do you hope your leadership legacy will be?
Wow. I really do not think about legacy, right? I want the people that work for me to think about people that they work with, the people that they work for, and the people they're leading, that they are mindful and they're helping them grow. I want the people under me to grow. I cannot be growing and the people under me are not growing. As I'm going up, I am pulling everybody up. There are leaders that they want to be up there and everybody's below them and they take the work of those people. That's not the kind of leadership I
Yeah.
want. And then number two is don't be afraid to take risks. I am a risk taker. I love taking risks so much that sometimes I need to balance it out on my team. I need to have non risk takers that will balance me out,
Right.
covering all the bases. So those are the two things. Think about the people around you. Make sure you help people grow. Think about the company. I want the company to succeed. And so take risks. People are afraid to take risks. I love taking risks. And sometimes I will fall. I got to get up. I do it again. I really just jump off and I know God is going to catch me.
I love that. So, two other questions for you.
Yeah,
How do you want
sure.
people to feel after working with you?
I want them to feel like they're important. They can speak up. Like in my meetings, you must speak up. If you come to my meeting, everybody has to say something. I remember I had a junior engineer on my team, very smart. And I could tell on the face when we're meetings, they want to say something, but they're holding back. And after 2 meetings, I was like, you know what? I know you want to say something. There's a reason why you got hired. You're smarter than me in this space. If you're not smarter than me in this space, why did I hire you? You're here. So I want you to open your mouth in meetings. I want to hear your opinion. Your voice will be heard. Femi will hear you. He might disagree with you, but it will hear you. But everybody has to say something. I know people that are quiet. That's why I'm very engaging in my meetings. I'll be like, hey, Sean, you didn't say anything. What's going on? I'm giving them that platform to be able to say something, especially when they're junior. And you'll be surprised at how many junior engineers have fantastic ideas that they're afraid to share because they think they're going to look stupid. So if it's something I want people to understand when they leave working with me, is like their voice is important. They can say something, they can be heard. And even if they're not heard, they should say it anyway.
It takes an amazing leader to take that approach, right? So I'm sure
Yeah.
your team really get empowered by that approach
Oh,
that
they
you
get
take.
empowered.
So,
So when I'm not there, they know Femi is backing them up, and this is the way Femi operates. I'm going on vacation. You guys got to figure it out. That's empowerment. You know, you want to go on vacation. I tell the team, like, we want to go on vacation and everything should be running smoothly. If
mhm,
you go on vacation and stuff breaks, that's bad leadership. Very bad
right.
leadership. Some people want to feel important that, oh, the work broke and stuff because I went on vacation. Nonsense.
Well, I think it's a reflection of bad
Yes.
leadership, right?
Of bad leadership. Yes, it is. Things should work. Things should be smooth. I go on vacation. They should not be calling me. And if there's something, there should be somebody you groomed that should be there helping to
Yep.
solve that problem. Now, if it's beyond them, they can now call you. But if they're calling you regularly, you've done a bad
Yeah,
job.
you've not done your job as a leader.
You've not done your job as a leader.
All
Yeah.
right. This spot on. So, any
Thank you.
final advice for the next generation of leaders?
People do not speak up enough. People are shy to speak up. I remember when I was a junior engineer, one of my mentors, it was like, I need you to go talk to your third level manager. I was a junior engineer. This was a vice president. So you could see how much gap between us. And I reached out, I tried to set a meeting up. And because I knew the admins, so they got me in. The admins, I know all the admins. That's one of the other thing too. Be nice to people, right? Admins know everything is going on because the admins were my friend. I got into this VP's calendar. She responded, she said, I have 1,100 people in my organization. If I have one-on-ones with everybody, I won't be able to do my job. Like, okay, all right. And then she copied my second level and first level manager to go mentor me. As a junior engineer, for you to get rejected by a VP like that was crushing. And then you copied my first and second, just made it even worse. And guess what? I didn't get the time with her, but it was okay. Guess what? She left the org and went somewhere else. Somebody else came and I reached out and I had a time. So what I'm saying is people are going to say no. All right. People are going to reject you. You have to get comfortable with rejection. People are afraid. Like I have mentees, a lot of them are afraid to get rejected. I'm like, you got to learn it. It's going to sting like 3 days, like the first time you get rejected. right? It's going to sting a lot. But the more rejections you get immune to it. After a while, it's only going to sting 5 minutes. Like, you dust it up, you go to the next one. So, what I'm going to ask the next generation to do is speak up. People are going to say no, still ask the questions. People are going to reject you, people are going to say no. It's okay. You dust yourself back up and you ask it again, right? You ask it, and people will hate you for it. Not everybody is gonna be your friend. You don't have best friends at work. Stop being like they're my friend. No, they're not your friends. They're acquaintances. You all working together to get something done. You don't play soccer together on the weekends. You don't have your children go. Maybe some will go to the birthday parties. Just imagine one of them becomes your manager. They start to treat you badly. Look, it happens. So these people are not your friends. So don't come with this mindset. Oh, they're my friend. No, they're not. People are selfish and people will backstab people to get going, to get ahead of you. But my point is this: that's not what I am. That's not what Christ has called me to be. But I'm comfortable in my skin that you reject me, I am going to stand up again. I'm going to ask the next person, and the next person will say yes. So speak up. Speak up.
Thank you so much, Femi. This has really been very insightful, fun conversation.
Thank you, Joanna.
Much.